Theo Walcott, he celebrated 10 years at the club this week. But what can you remember about his first few days when he arrived here as a 16-year-old?
I was a little boy who discovered the world, and in the same year he discovered the World Cup as well. And 10 years later he's the father of a young boy now, with a family, and he's well established in life. And overall I believe that he has gone through fantastic periods in his life and through disappointing periods. One of them when you go so early to the World Cup, since he has not been, you know. So I hope he missed one in South Africa because he was not selected, and one through injury in Brazil. So I hope he will be part in the next one. But overall, I think as well he has moved forward. He's very responsible, very focused, very hard-working, and he has learned his job, and today he has become an important player in our squad. And he has qualities that are very difficult to find, because he has the intelligence of the movement, the intelligence of the timing of the movement, and in modern football, you do not find many players who have that.
Massive game against Chelsea on Sunday. Could you give us the latest team news, please?
Look, compared to last week, we have no big problems for the squad who was available against Stoke. The good news is that Ozil certainly will be available, and Sanchez has the next 2 days will be decisive, but I think this time we'll make it to be available for selection.
And the likes of Danny Welbeck, Francis Coquelin, they're getting nearer.
Coquelin, Welbeck, Coquelin is back in full training today. He's ahead of schedule. Welbeck will be in full training next week. So that are positive news. Rosicky, I think, will play tomorrow night with the under-21. So we have a few players coming back because we're going to a very important period now, and to have people available is important for us.
And just lastly from me, big game against Chelsea on Sunday. Is this one of those real flagpole moments in the season where you feel that the team can really make a significant statement?
Yes, it's not a game where people look at us and see how we behave, because even if Chelsea is not in the best position, we know that you look at their squad. It's a big game because of the quality of the players on the pitch, and it has a big importance to us as well, because we have we play at the Emirates, and we know how important it will be to win these games.
Arsene, do you still consider Chelsea to be direct rivals? They're not in this title race, which is an unusual dynamic.
They are not in this title race, no, but they are direct rivals because of the quality of their team, and I think this season is exceptional circumstances for them, and they will be back, and I consider them as direct rivals.
What would you have said if we told you at the start of the season that when you meet for the second time in the league that this is where they would be? Would you have believed it?
No, I would. Nobody could predict that, but it can happen to anybody. You know, the confidence can go quickly, and for them the bad luck as well was that this season maybe the league is more difficult than ever for everybody, and once you lack a bit confidence, it can happen to anybody.
Guus Hiddink said last week that they're in a relegation battle. Could you? I know you said a few weeks ago you couldn't imagine a situation where they went down. Has your view on that changed?
No, not at all. I don't think he has gone a bit overboard there. I think, but I don't believe that.
He just said it was a reality based on how close they were to the bottom three. That, you know, I think they were 4 points off it now. And you can't take anything for granted.
Yes, it is. If you look purely at the mathematics, but the team has too much potential.
If they were to go down, or if they at least went towards the end of the season still in it and weren't able to pull away, would that make them specialists in failure?
Look, I see where you want to take me, but honestly, I'm not ready to travel.
had to try. On a serious note, what impact does taking Jose Mourinho out of the equation have on the game itself? Does it change the style? Does it change the atmosphere?
Look, honestly, no. I look at the quality of the players on the football pitch, and never had two seats on the bench. I think you look at the characteristics of the team, of the players, and we do not analyze the character of the manager who sits on the bench on the other side.
I just wondered if it made it a less attritional or physical sort of battle and more of a football match.
No, it will be an intense game, with, as usual, what you get in Premier League. But overall, I think because of the quality of the players on the pitch, because of what is at stake for both teams, it will be a very intense battle, no matter who sits on the bench.
It surprised us all when Petr Cech came here. Everybody seems to have got their head around the fact that he is here now, apart from his glove suppliers, who apparently this week sent his gloves to the Chelsea training ground rather than here. Have you had to send him over the road to the retail park to get some new ones, or have you got them back?
Well, I think he has enough gloves, but this kind of mistakes can happen. I consider him now as a real Arsenal player who, it looks to me like he has been here forever, because he has adapted so well and integrated the team spirit so quickly that I feel really he's here for a very long time. So I'm supposed that this kind of incident happens is an accident.
Have you checked that they haven't covered them in grease on the palms or unpicked the stitching?
No,
like
I don't check. He's big enough to do that.
And on a more serious point, in terms of doping, the chief executive of UK anti-doping said yesterday that she would value talks with you on your thoughts on the situation in football. Do you have the time or the desire to meet with her? Would you do that?
Look, I have more desire than time, but I'm always happy to help if I can in clarifying anti-doping, people who want to fight against doping. But I've said what I had to say, and there's not a lot more to do. I think just in our job, in football especially, maybe we look like we want to tackle the problem now. It looks to me that for a long period we didn't.
Just in terms of transfers, you predicted a couple of weeks ago a very busy January. Do you still see the landscape the same? Do you expect another busy 10 days?
Yes, you will certainly have in the next 10 days some work to do. Not especially with Arsenal, but with many other clubs.
Has anything exceptional presented itself to you this month? Has anything exceptional presented? You always said you'll do something if it's exceptional. Has that
exceptional, we are always open for the exceptional occasion, of course, because it can as well be a long-term exceptional opportunity that you would take. But at the moment, I expect our last 10 days to be quiet.
Arsenal, how different are Arsenal going to be?
I'm not Arsenal.
Yeah, almost. How different are Arsenal going to be with Ozil and Sanchez in the side this weekend?
I don't know. I think we have done extremely well in during all this period where we had big players out. But it's just a good opportunity for us to have everybody back, because we are in front of a very important schedule. And we want to do well in the FA Cup, we want to do well in the Champions League, and it's good to have everybody back.
But what do you think they will be able to contribute that you've been missing?
Look, the strikers give you goal scoring, and as well, I feel sometimes, in games, when you have 70 minutes gone and you have a strong bench, it gives you a big chance to win the game. And so this variety of problems you can give to the opponent is very important.
You say that Chelsea have lacked confidence this season. That's what you feel has been one of the reasons.
No, I said the lack of confidence is linked with one or two unexpected bad results. And the confidence in our job goes quickly, maybe quicker than ever, because the pressure from the environment, from the media is bigger than ever, and you suffer a bit quicker than before. And it can happen to anybody.
So why do you feel that they've had bad results? What has gone wrong there?
Because it's all very tight and very fragile, and honestly, I'm not in the best position to analyze what happens to them. I'm more focused on what's happening to us.
What's your relationship like with Guus Hiddink? It's obviously
Very respectful, and I rate him highly as a very strong manager who had an exceptional career, and he alterned between club and country, but he's one of the leading managers who represented this Dutch philosophy and exported it across Europe. With Cruyff, Van Gaal, Hiddink, Advocat, you know, they were present in all the big clubs in Europe.
have they changed much under Hiddink, do you think? Having watched them on videos?
I don't know. I think more than the managers, the characteristics of the players who are dominant, and that they have the same players.
Just one final point from me. You said you'd have the desire to meet with the UK anti-doping people, but not.
No,
time.
I'm available. I'm not special. I'm not a special desire. I just want to help to tackle doping, because I think we have all to fight against it, you and me.
Yeah. What contribution do you feel that you would make?
I'm not especially think that I can do more than people who are responsible to do that. But if they think they need to talk to me, I'm available. What is important to me is that we all try to show, we all have to show that we don't accept it.
One of the points that the head of the UK anti-doping made yesterday to us was that you can test people as much as you like, but the only way you can really root out the problem is through intelligence, through whistleblowers. Do you think, if any, or rather, if somebody suspected someone within the game of doping, of taking performance-enhancing drugs, what should they do, Arsene?
They should warn the guy and the authorities. Look, we have all experienced people who died early because they took wild doping. That means even without any medical assistance. That is even more dangerous. And I think as well it is important that we think all when the guy wins, it is because he's the best and not because he has taken illegal substances. And on the other hand, it's a health issue as well. It's a sport justice issue and a health issue.
I know you've said in the past in an interview with L'Equipe that you've played against teams that you felt were doping. Do you think it goes on at all within the British game?
No.
You sure?
I'm sure that not one club in England is trying to dope his players. I'm absolutely 100% convinced that nobody in England tries to do that as a club. I'm convinced of it.
Arsene, very fiery encounter back in September against Chelsea. Things have changed with the manager and so on, but is preparing your players to keep calm and keep a cool head something that you talk about? Yes,
we are convinced that our points and our records are certainly linked with our discipline. And on the day we suffered, because I think we're a bit unlucky with the decision of the referee. But overall, on a longer distance, I believe we have a very strong record on the discipline front in the Premier League, and we want to maintain it.
People are talking as well, final question from me, people are talking about the way that on occasions you've said you didn't feel that you played at your best as a team, that you've dug in. Is that something that is different? Do you feel that's different this season and that's why you're in the position you are?
We have certainly improved our battling potential through big solidarity, through great togetherness, and as well because we are ambitious and because we have more experience than in the past in the team. And one of the advantages to have experienced players, they know, the experienced players, that sometimes it's just about battling and not always only about playing well.
Thank you.
Arsene, just to clarify on Sanchez, what's the doubt? Is he going to have a fitness test, presumably?
The doubt is that he has been out for a long time, and it is to rate the risk of a setback if you try to go too early, you know. And so there is clear on all the tests is one thing. After is clear on training is another thing, and after the intensity of a game, of a big game, you can never repeat in a training session, but you can make sure after a certain period of time that the risk is very minimal.
Are you kind of especially mindful after what happened at Norwich, that all the tests said he was fine before that game and then he pulled up?
Well, I'm cautious with him because we cannot afford a setback now. A setback would mean a very long period out, and so we do not want to take this gamble. But the signs he has shown in training this week are positive.
You've talked in the past about having a psychological hurdle to overcome against the Manchester clubs. Do you have the same issue with Chelsea, having not beaten them in 5 years?
Yes, it is another one, yes, where we can show that we have moved forward.
And just finally from me, the two other London clubs are talking about a ground share at Wembley. They're having problems with that. If that didn't happen, do you see any possibility of them ground sharing at the Emirates?
Not really, because we suffered a lot to build this stadium, and we had to be very tight financially to pay it back. And so I don't know, but I don't feel that it is in our. It's not really in our plans to do it. We don't need it, and we have not been approached for it as well. And honestly, it's a board decision. It's not my decision.